is Miss Vindicat with a very old school whisper video. As you can see, the footage is just an image, and this image will remain here for the rest of this video. It is snow, not a lot of snow though. There was, we expected snow for the first time this year, and this winter. And the south of the Netherlands actually got quite a lot of it. Well, relatively. But here in Groningen, where I live in the north, not so much. But there was a little bit. So I took this picture this morning. I took this picture tomorrow, yeah, sure. And then I figured I could use it for a whisper video because A, I wanted to show you the snow, and B, I do not have a lot of time today. And I did want to make a video because, I don't know, I feel like Sunday is my regular upload day, and creating a whisper video with just an image as the footage actually makes it way easier, or, well, mostly way faster. The editing becomes way faster, then the exporting, the rendering becomes way faster, and then the end result is a video with just audio and this picture, and that makes that the file size is way smaller, so also the uploading to YouTube goes way faster. So I figured that would be convenient, and this way I could create a video for you guys. And then when I was thinking about that, it was basically an old-fashioned video, in the early days of the Whisper community, like 10 years ago, we used to create videos like this all the time. We would either use a black screen, like no footage at all, just a voice, although turned into a video, so just with a black screen, or we would also a lot of times just take or find a nice picture and use that as the the background basically to the whispering. So that's that made me think like, oh, this is kind of nice, old-fashioned. It made me feel nostalgic. And then what made me happy as well, this week at one point I wanted to try to create a whisper video with my new iPhone, using only the microphone of the iPhone, because I was kind of curious how the audio quality would be. I used to have an iPhone 7 for years and years until the end of last year, and the audio wasn't all that good. Well, not too bad maybe, but not necessarily good. And then during the last months, the microphone was broken, so I could not use it to record videos anymore. Well, not with sound, that is. So then when I paid off my student loan completely, the first thing that I gave myself was a new iPhone. And it's actually an iPhone 12. So it was quite expensive, but I was able to get it pretty cheap because of a tax deal for business people here in the Netherlands. Well, it's a long story. It doesn't, it's not interesting basically. However, I now own a iPhone 12. And I was kind of curious how the sound quality would be. But then I realized when I was thinking about experimenting with it last week, at the point that I wanted to experiment with it, I wanted to create like a regular ramble video with just me. That you could see me basically on the video. And that meant that obviously I would not be able to speak close to the microphone, but a little bit like from the other side. And I figured that probably wasn't the best way to test it, because I might as well be pretty close to the microphone. I'm not like all the way close, but because I feel like that's probably not going to give the best result. But I am pretty close now. And I figured that back then that wasn't a good experiment, because the footage would look kind of silly if I would record myself. Well, So back then I felt like, oh, that's too bad. I want to still experiment with it. So now, actually, when I coincidentally thought of using the image because I was running out of time, and then that would be kind of old-fashioned, I figured, oh, now I can experiment with the sound as well, create some old-fashioned sounds as well. So you probably hear a little bit more of white noise, or maybe not. I don't know. I haven't really tested it. Well, yeah, I've made a couple of videos, and then the sound was good, but that was just my regular voice. And I feel like for whispering, it is more important to have a good microphone, because somehow, I don't know, with background noises and stuff. Like Friday I recorded a YouTube video, but not for this channel, but for my Dutch money paying off that channel. And there were people outside playing music, and it was like the best time for me to record. So I was like, okay, this is not gonna be ideal, but let's just try. And in fact, it was fine. I mean, I could hear the music a little bit, but it was not. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't too bad. And I think there might even be people listening to that video and not realizing it at all. Maybe if I would tell them, they would like, oh yeah, when you're not speaking, then indeed very slightly there is a noise, or there is music basically. But for a whisper video, I would never even attempt that. If there would be the musicians below the window or on the market square that you're basically looking at now. If you're at least looking to the screen, that is, you might not at this point. Well, I would never even try that for a whisper video, because I would just know that, with my voice being lower, just whispers, and then the music would be pretty loud. So that would not be, ideal. So yeah, well, this made me happy. It felt like serendipity, that it all worked out in the end. Today my wants for a quick video, and then realizing it would become an old-fashioned one so that I could show you the snow, and then realizing I could use this audio as an experiment, and then it just all, it was like, oh yeah, this is working out nicely. So basically, it is 3 o'clock, something like, 1 minute after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and my son is still asleep, and he might wake up at any point. And I think if he starts to either cry or just, if he starts talking and I hear that he's awake, I will stop whispering, and I'm not gonna return to this. So this might be a pretty short video, or it might be, I don't know, he might sleep for 15 minutes or something. He went to sleep a little bit before 1 o'clock, or around 1 o'clock maybe, and he usually sleeps an hour and a half or 2 hours in the afternoon, and that would mean that we right now are kinda at the end of his nap. But then again, it varies obviously, so he might sleep a little bit longer. So yeah, we'll see. By the way, he has been waking up, not crying more often, for the longest time, until recently actually, and still oftentimes he would wake up crying, and at first I didn't think anything of it. Just babies wake up crying like all the time, and he just kept doing that. And it was only like, I don't know, a couple of months ago that I started to realize, like, hey, but why is he actually always crying? Can't he he can speak now pretty well. He can sort of call me, he can holler. I like that word. And I would come and get him, It's not that, and sometimes he does that. Sometimes he's like, mama, and then I'm like, yeah, okay, here I am. I'll come and pick you up. So I was wondering, like, why does he cry? And I feel like sometimes he's confused and he wakes up crying and he's kind of like, where am I? Or he wants to nurse immediately, and then I'm like, maybe he had like a dream, maybe like a nightmare or a scary dream, or maybe just a dream, which wasn't necessarily scary, but sort of confused him, because dreams are weird, so yeah, or well, dreams can be weird, and the whole concept of dreaming might be weird. I sometimes wake up feeling strange if I had a dream, so yeah. wasn't like, it was worrying me a lot because he's a happy guy and he's doing well, and it was just something that I wondered about. And then recently, during the last 1 or 2 weeks, I think, sometimes he wakes up and he's not crying, and he will either call me, like he'll say like mama, and then I'll come and pick him up, or he'll just start talking and I can hear that he's talking to himself. He's usually saying words that he likes or words that he's like learning. So for example, we've been watching Bing, which is a British cartoon that is dubbed in Dutch, and it's really cute. I love it. And there's all these characters like Bing and Flop and Coco and Charlie and Paget and Pando and Sula and Amma. Yeah, a lot. And he knows them all. So sometimes he'll be in bed and then I'll just hear him calling all those names. And that's just so cute. And at that point, I'm now kind of confused because I'm like, what should I do now? Should I go in and pick him up? Or should I maybe give him a moment? Because he sounds content, he sounds happy. And I can imagine it sometimes might be nice to be in your room by yourself, just having fun. You don't necessarily always need external things, to entertain you. And I myself, I'm a huge introvert. I love being alone. So I'm like, yeah, I can give him a moment. So then I'll be just, in the room, in the living room, kind of smiling. And I don't know, this is a new thing. And I like it. Having said that, he might as well wake up crying in a bit now. You might even be able to hear it. Because it's not like he wakes up happy always. But he does now sometimes, even though he didn't used to before. So let's see, what else can I whisper about? Now I'm like, okay, I thought this was going to be a short video. And now I don't know, we're at, almost 13 minutes. That is still a pretty short video, of course. So let's see, what else can I talk about? I'm actually having a quite busy day because tomorrow my new course start. My paying off your debt course. It's a 6-week course, like a huge big one, and I'm gonna coach people. And I'm excited and I'm scared, and I still have to do several things for the launch tomorrow, or the launch, the start, the kickoff. The launch is basically like this week I'm selling it. I'm also trying to see if I can get some more sales today. And I'm feeling good. Today. I don't know. I already have thought out what we're gonna do for the first week, and I think it's gonna be good. I just need to turn it into videos, and I'm gonna do that tonight as my son sleeps. And yeah, I think it will all just work out. I'm still a deadline person. I don't know if I sometimes feel like it would be convenient to do something in advance, and then I won't be as busy, just before, but it doesn't work for me. I don't know if that's just my character, or that it's something that I picked up as being a journalist, or what. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just, it might be a combination. And I also like the feeling that I get on those days. I remember I created a more like self-study, shorter online training in May, June of last year. And the same happened there. I had this plan, I knew what I wanted to do, and then I knew that I had to tell people when it was going to be ready, otherwise it would never be ready. So I procrastinated, I postponed some more, and at a certain point I just told everybody, okay, it's going to be ready on, I don't know, a particular Monday. It was either at the end of May or the start of June, somewhere around there. So now I had this deadline, and still I waited for the very last weekend to record everything. Then I wanted to record it on Friday night, but I don't know, I didn't do it. I think I was either tired or there was too much noise outside, one of the two, or maybe a combination. Then I decided to record it on Saturday, but obviously Saturday night there was also a lot of noise. Then I thought, my son is gonna wake up Saturday night, literally in the middle of the night. So I'll nurse him and I'll record it then. So what do you think that happened? Well, obviously it was the middle of the night and it was not during lockdown. And I'm thinking now, was this in the corona time? I'm very confused now, but I think it was. This was after the lockdown. Oh wow, it feels like it's way longer ago, but it's not. Well, anyway, there wasn't a lockdown at that point. So even in the middle of the night, when my son woke up and I was very tired, but I was like determined. I was like, I'm gonna record the videos now. There was way too much noise. So then in the end, on Sunday, I decided to ask my parents for help. They were coming to visit anyway, and I was like, Sunday afternoon, can you please babysit my son for a little bit? And I went to the newsroom where I worked, and I recorded the videos over there on Sunday afternoon. And then I spent Sunday evening editing it all. Well, into Sunday night. I think I went to sleep at like 2 or 3 o'clock at night, and then it was all finished, and it all worked out fine, but boy. And I think this time it will be a little bit easier, because back then I really tried to create these very short videos with, if I would make a mistake, I would repeat the sentence. So there was a lot of editing. I had to cut out all these mistakes. And this time what I'm gonna do, I have several small topics and assignments and things, and I'm basically just gonna record all of them once, and I'm gonna record them like it's a live. If you would follow a live workshop with me, I've done a couple so far and I really enjoy them, even though I'm kind of nervous before, but well, that's another story. What will happen is, if I speak live, I'll make mistakes. It's just like this video. I'm not gonna edit the sound or the audio here. I'll mess up and I'll start over, and that just feels kind of cozy. I don't know. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight. And I might just do a redo or like one edit if I really mess up. But basically, it is just gonna be a lot less editing. So that will make it way smaller. And one more thing, I'm not gonna do the whole thing all at once. There will be 6 weeks, and I know exactly what we're gonna do, but I haven't created the videos yet. So tonight I'll make the course material for the first week, and then next week I'll create the course material for the second week, etc., etc. And that way I can also see how everybody is doing and maybe tweak a little bit, depending on what's needed and what works and what doesn't work, and I don't know, like that. So I'm actually pretty excited. I'm excited. So let's see, the video is now at 20 minutes here, although I have to cut out a little bit, so you might not see 20 minutes already, because there was a ambulance in the street that was very loud, so that I'm gonna edit that. So that's how I edit ASMR videos, if something like that happens. And I really thought, now's my son is gonna wake up because of this ambulance, but he did not. At least I do not hear anything yet. Obviously it is a possibility that he is awake and he's not saying anything, he's not crying, he's not talking, he's just alone, awake in his bed. By the way, he's not alone because he has all these stuffed animals. He has a huge dog, like literally bigger than that. He is himself. He has a rabbit, he has a bear, and then he has, it sounded like a beer, like a bear. How do you say this word? A bear, not a beer. Now I'm all confused. See, if this would happen tonight, I might edit it out. The growling animal that lives in the forests in Canada. That one. And he also has like a little blanket koala thingy, and his pacifier is attached to that thing. And then also next to his bed there is a huge elephant, also bigger than he is himself, and a pig. And then in the window there is an owl that a friend of mine made for him, and there is a raccoon stuffed animal that actually was my very first stuffed animal, or one of my first. In any case, it's the one stuffed animal that is still left from my childhood, the one that I love the most, I think. I'm not sure. And that's also there. So he has quite a lot of stuffed animals. By the way, the pacifier, I remember in a video asking advice like, should I use a pacifier or shouldn't I? And it actually worked out fine. He still uses one when he's sleeping, and that's the only time he never uses them during the day. So I feel like that is a good balance. And I could try and get him to stop because he has teeth now, and I think pacifiers aren't necessarily all that good if you have teeth. But at the same time, it does help him feel comforted, I think. And also, he never sucks his thumb. And I think I kind of feel like, I mean, it would not be good if he would stop using the pacifier, then starts to use his thumb. And then that would be more difficult later, because the pacifier I can take away, but his thumb I can't. So, yes, so far, I don't know. He's never been to the dentist, by the way. He will join me the next time that I go, and that is gonna be in August, I think. So then he's 2 years old. And then he'll join me. By the way, I can't believe he's almost 2 years old. Well, his birthday is in May, so he's not like almost 2 years old, but it still feels like I was pregnant like yesterday. Also, it was such a time where I remembered everything, you know. I can go back in my mind and bam, I'm there again with that positive test, and bam, I'm there again for everything, you know. The day he was born, I'm sure there is not a day in my life that I remember as many details than from that day. There's so many details that I still know. It's also intense and wow. And then there's this image of me at the daycare with him sitting on my lap, and I think he was maybe like 6 months old, so he was already like a little bit stronger of a baby, you know, not looking all fragile and small, but at the same time he could not sit up, and he was still kind of helpless that you had to hold him, and he looked so cute and chubby and small there, and that feels like a long time ago. And I don't know why, because like getting pregnant feels like yesterday, so how can him being 6 months old feel like a long time ago? And in fact that was like a year and a couple of months ago. I don't know, time. I've always been interested in time. I think it's such a interesting topic, phenomenon. But I feel like now with my son here, it's way more strange than it used to be. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just don't know. So now I'm actually at 25 minutes and my son still isn't awake. And I'm kind of curious when he will wake up, or what will be the time that I'm gonna wake him up, because I don't necessarily want him to sleep too long. Let's see, normally I would let him, especially during the lockdown, and our days are just our days, you know, there are no appointments, it's just fine. So if he wants to sleep till like 4:30, that will just mean that he will go to bed a little bit later too, but I mean, who cares, it's all fine. And usually he goes to bed between 6:30 and 7:30, but I do feel like it's best if he's awake for like at least 3 hours after his nap, and maybe even 4 as a minimum. Could be 5 depending on when he wakes up. So if it's like less than 3 hours, he might just not go to sleep yet. He's just way too awake. But for tonight, I feel like because there's a lot of things that I still have to get done before tomorrow, and I do not necessarily want to work till 2 or 3 at night. I mean, it will be fine. It will be a fun memory if that's what ends up happening. But I might actually enjoy my son, going to bed a little bit earlier today. So I'm now gonna check. It's actually almost 3:30 already. I think when I mentioned that it was 3 o'clock, it might not have been. Not sure. Anyway, I'm now checking my laptop, so this is not good because now I'm like all over the place and trying to whisper, even though I'm like, I don't know. Let me just check one more thing because that's what I want to do. Let's see. What happened? So, no, I don't want to do this. So basically, I'm now, actions, delete. Okay, sorry, I was doing something. I can tell you about that, maybe, might be interesting. I, unsubscribed, no, I deleted everybody from my mailing list that unsubscribed. I have a mailing list, like a newsletter for my company. They touch paying off that thing. And, I mean, obviously there's new people coming in and there's also always people unsubscribing. Which is fine, which is okay, that's the way it's, And at first, this was making me feel insecure, and I think this is such a common thing among business people. Because you feel like, oh, they're unsubscribing, don't they like me, what is this? And also, when I tried to sell, I was really afraid to use this newsletter to sell stuff, And I feel like in the last year, 6 months, I've learned a lot, and now I'm way more comfortable with it. So today I sent out another mail to my whole newsletter saying like, okay, last chance, tomorrow the course starts. If you want to join, get your ticket now. And that is kind of like a aggressive way of selling that I'm usually not doing. Usually I'll be like, hey, here is my new YouTube video, or here is my new blog post, or here are some nice financial tips. Also, PS, do you want to join my course? Here is the link. So that way I'm like offering them something, and then also like low-key selling. But during a week of a launch, like this week, I'm more aggressive, and I know that makes people to unsubscribe, and it's like an experiment to see how that feels, because I know rationally that I'm okay with that, meaning I'm not gonna send them 3 meals a day. I'm not gonna, I'm just experimenting to see what it is that I want and what I don't want. But I also know that if I want to turn this into a business that can provide for my life, that I can pay the bills and have some fun too, then I must sell. So I'm really telling myself, like, the people that are unsubscribing because I'm too pushy, that's okay. I'm not for them. I need people that look forward to those meals, or if they're really not gonna buy this time, or maybe never, that will just delete those meals and not get upset, because the people that I'm pushing away, that are either people that were not gonna buy from me anyway, and then it's fine because I'm not for them, that's fine. I don't need to be for everybody. Or I am sort of, it's kind of like this mindset shift that the newsletter is not for me to please people, and it's not for people to like me. No, the newsletter is a part of my business. It's a way to bring in money, and obviously I'm gonna give a lot of value, and I'm gonna offer a lot of advice, and basically I'm doing that all the time. But it's also for me to earn money, and that is fine, and that is okay. By the way, there are now people outside screaming. I'm kind of interested to see how the microphone is picking that up, or maybe not. So we'll see. Then also, I think I'm gonna stop this video soon, because if my son does not wake up, am I gonna wake him up? I never wake him up. I actually don't want to do that, but at the same time, I would like for him to sleep at 7:30. Then I can have some dinner myself, and then I can start working at 8. So maybe then I'll be finished at midnight, 1 o'clock. That would be a good scenario. So I could wait until my son. I actually think when I said it was like 3 o'clock, 1 minute after, that is probably the time that I started this recording. That makes sense. So then I need my son to be, well, he could maybe sleep a little bit longer. Oh, now my cat is also close. She's sitting on my lap. Okay, so I'm just gonna whisper a little bit more, even though I'm now officially out of topics. I'm looking around my room to see if there's something. The snow is completely gone now, by the way. The snow used to be on the roofs of the houses that I could see from the window, and now it's all gone. And the sun is also shining. So I thought it would maybe nice if my son could play in the snow today, but he did see it. I did show him through the window, and he could say the word snow. In Dutch it's sneeuw. And I remember when I was young, well, I don't remember it, but I remember my mom telling me that when I was young I could not say sneeuw, but I would say nieuws, like the N and the S, in the wrong spot. But he can say sneeuw, my son. And also he kind of understood, because I told him and I showed him, and he repeated the word, and then like several hours later we were sitting on the couch together, and suddenly he would start pointing outside and it would say sneeuw. So I was like, yes, that's still the snow on the roofs. So I think he understood, but there was just so little outside. Well, as you can see here on this image, and this image I took pretty early on this morning. So by the time that we were done having breakfast, and I don't know, it was like an hour and a half later, and at that point there was even more gone, and it felt like it was just like icy and dangerous. And I mean, he can walk pretty okay, but I felt like this is just gonna be too risky to go outside now, and it's gonna be really cold and icy, and let's just not do it. But I had hoped for him to be able to play in the snow. That was actually my cat jumping in. Jumping in something. So this is at 35 minutes. I'll have to make mental notes to go back and check. And there's this strange thing with editing audio. You can see, if you're editing, you can see like the spikes. Like if I would start to scream, there would be larger spikes in the audio file, so I could see that. But sometimes sounds or noises are hidden. For example, it might as well be that this noise of the cat jumping into something would cause quite a noise, but wouldn't cause necessarily a huge spike. And obviously there is some correlation, but it's not always as straightforward as you would think, or at least as I thought. So I always kind of check, and it's also sometimes the other way around. Sometimes there are some spikes, like extreme spikes. Like there would be a video and it would all be sort of the same, and there are like 2 or 3 spikes. But then if I listen to them, it's like, I don't hear them as much. It's basically me, I don't know, maybe a certain letter or a certain S sound or something like that. But it's actually not. It's not too awkward, or it doesn't bother me when I listen to it. It doesn't sound hard to my ear, even though it probably sounds hard to the computer. So I'm not really sure how that works. I would love actually to do some sort of audio course to become better at audio editing. More clear sounds, and also to have less background noises. And so far I've been kinda trying to learn, but it's hard. For example, there's this program Audacity, which is a free software program for audio, and I hear it's really good. But then if I use it, I never know what to do. I know there is this noise reduction feature, but that doesn't really work for like the background noise that I have. That's the cat again. Boy. So what this background thing basically does is, if you want to use that, you should record a little bit of footage without voice. For example, 10 seconds of just basically silence, except obviously there won't be silence because there's white noise that the camera picks up. It might be like the fridge, or it might be sounds that the microphone itself produces, or maybe the ventilator of a laptop, something like that. And that white noise the computer can recognize. So what the computer will do, what Audacity will do, is take that 10 seconds, sort of analyze what the sound is, and then for the whole of the video it will remove that, those frequencies, those sounds. So then you end up with a video that is more clear. However, this only works for white noise that is continuous. So my videos, especially when the lockdown is over, my videos tend to get ruined by like a scooter or a car or an ambulance, or what's happening right now, a person screaming outside being angry. I don't know, it's always men, by the way, the screaming ones. And now there's a scooter, for example. But the Audacity noise reduction function can't help that, because that's just, it doesn't know that the scooter shouldn't be there and my voice should, and there's no way for me to tell him or her, or it. It might be best for a computer program. So I know that other people are editing the sounds, but I'm like, I don't know how to do it. If you have any advice and you're still listening to me rambling now, feel free to tell me, basically. Okay, this is gonna be it, guys. I'm gonna stop now because my son is still not awake, but this will give me a chance to edit the sound before he wakes up, maybe, although I'm pretty sure he might wake up as soon as I stop recording. But yeah, and at this point I still have those mental notes. I think the cat jumped twice and there was an ambulance, so let's go and edit while I still remember. So thank you for listening, and yeah, I guess I'll speak to you soon.